Boom, we're on.
Boom, we're on. How are you?
I'm alright, man. I'm alright. Fucking, we tried a little bit until I set up everything. Luckily, you can't see in the camera what is behind the scenes of 500 cables, but
a lot of mess.
But we're here now. All good. I'm alright. You know, my motto recently has been long-term optimistic, but short-term pish. That's been it. A bit of a roller coaster, but I'm still doing it. I'm still in it.
Yeah, that's that, bro.
Yeah, You had a lot of news today, actually. Should we? I mean, by the time this comes out, it should come out before that. But you just announced a cheeky wee show at the Armadillo.
Well, actually, I never just announced it. It's been announced for 1 full month.
I'm sorry.
Silas has been living under a rock.
I'm sorry.
I was just hounding more people for more tickets.
Right. Okay.
But yes, you're right. I'm doing a show in February on the 22nd. Saturday night, a show which Silas, you were a part of during the Fringe.
Yeah, I was what you call basically a pillar of that. I was the fundamental.
You held it together. Without you, there was no show.
Yeah, I was the rug of that show, you know.
Yeah.
From the Big Lebowski.
Silas was just playing. We got him in to play a tree. No, a plant. A Romanian plant. Have you ever seen that meme? It's like if you think your day's going bad, it's like I got cast to play grass in a school play, and it's just a guy coloured green lying on the ground. And he's just like,
could be worse. I mean, it didn't get cast to play a minority.
Yes, so we're doing a show February the 22nd at the Armadillo in Glasgow, which is a stand-up show / sketch show. And tickets are on sale.
Shout out to the Europe Bros.
To the Europe Bros, Sean and Ben, my good friends, the twins. They are my fellow, what would you call them? Well, my co-writers.
Co-writers. I was thinking delinquents.
Well, no, the characters, yes, they are delinquents.
Criminal associates.
Yeah, exactly. And they're very good at accents and stuff. And
they're really fucking good, man. I got to see the show twice at the Fringe.
Yeah, from the side.
And it was phenomenal.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It was wild. I think that's quite chaotic, I suppose.
It's like because it's I don't want to spoil much, obviously, but it's got the vibe of a Jerry Springer type show.
Yeah.
In bits.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's also just very Glaswegian.
Yeah.
In its humour, so it's fucking class.
Aye, so get a ticket. I've sold about a third of the tickets, so we need to push.
Fucking eh? Alright, okay, and it's a show that's next year technically, so it'll check you out, brother.
Aye, 2025 February.
Right, we actually discussed this a little while as we were setting up. We kind of brought this up, but you have a lot of different interests creatively. Because you do the old comedy.
Yeah.
You also do music. You do musical comedy.
Yeah.
And now, like you just said, you're about to go on tour as well with a band.
Aye.
And I hope I'm not spoiling anything, but
yeah.
How does that make sense to you? Because it has to work for you, right? Like, what is the...
I mean, the things that stimulate me the most are playing music.
Right.
Musical instruments, I suppose. that's the... Playing music's probably where I'm in my most kind of flow state. Yes, you were saying, I've got a few different creative outlets. I mean, it's just... Growing up, I think maybe it's a trait of ADHD and stuff. It's just like you want to do loads of things. Having several different interests. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So my interest, definitely growing up from a young age, was definitely playing music, and then it became later on languages.
Yeah.
That's why I went to uni and studied languages, and then comedy. I got into comedy just at the end of uni. I just sack this. I was like, I kind of saw, oh wait, I could actually go down a different path here, do you know what I mean? Rather than become a French teacher and get rubbers lobbed at my head by 15-year-olds. And
I mean, nothing wrong with that. You know, whoever's doing it, you're a fucking hero. Cause,
I know that we'd actually need more BAMs. That's true. We're lacking in BAMs. But there has my brother.
BAMs with basic understanding of French.
Well, My wee brother said, and he's right, he said, we've got this band's coming back, they're coming back into he said he called it a Renaissance. He said there used to be wee bands in Glasgow that would just do things, like really mean things for no reason, and they sometimes wouldn't even be there to see the reaction. Like a thing that used to happen is kids would put jam on a post box, the hole for the letters.
Right.
So like some old woman's like going to post a letter, the Christmas card to her grandwains, and she's just covered in fucking strawberry jam.
And she doesn't know what it is.
Aye, and the Neds wouldn't be there to even witness it. They just did it with the knowledge that that's going to ruin somebody's day.
That is tactical BAM.
Aye.
It's like the BAMs, that is peak BAM, isn't it? Because that means they've evolved to that point where they were able to foresee the consequences of their actions and take enjoyment in that, but never actually witnessing it.
Yeah, and I think that is lacking a bit in today's society, isn't it?
Yeah, make BAMs great again.
Aye. But now they're just on their fucking iPhones and their vapes. Man, honestly, see when you go to have you ever been to that garage up the road in Ibrox?
I don't think I have.
See, any shop nowadays you go in, it's like it's this big sugary vape.
Oh yeah.
It's just like colours and sugar, and it's like slush puppies and vapes, and
you get hit by fucking candy floss and this like sickening smell of like.
Oh man. That's what kids do nowadays. They go with their girlfriend and get a Kinder Bueno cookie dough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey babe, you want to try my
aye.
blueberry muffin vape?
Blueberry slush vape.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, like as you said, the Renaissance is happening, because I've seen St. Enoch Centre and it's kicking off again.
They're kind of dressing the same as the BAMs when I was younger, but it's not the same breed. I mean, when I was growing up in this area, because I went to school in Belhouston, like we used to go to the complex, the Ibrox complex, for Monday night football. Yeah. And Ibrox was, I mean, the whole of Glasgow was mental. The whole of Glasgow was a pretty dangerous place, but even just walking from school to that complex, it was like we used to get chased with fireworks. If people
fucking
throwing fireworks. So it's a different type of Ned. Or maybe it's just because I'm 30 now and they're not going after me. Or
they just train you differently.
Yeah.
And you do have a bit of net cred as well, don't you?
No.
Do you
mean like as if I'm
BAM? No, not that. I don't mean it like that. It's just like there's a mural of you now.
Oh, aye, in the skate park.
Yeah.
Aye,
does that not give you a bit of cred?
Maybe, aye. Yeah.
Fucking Mark Black used to be hanging around here, you know.
I had see when I saw that, I had the fear that somebody was just going to write
pedo.
Just something.
Now someone's going to after this.
Somebody from my past has just gone. Somebody that I wronged will be like,
"You nonsense bastard."
Nah, he wronged me. I actually wrote that he wronged me. The most tame graffiti ever.
Yeah. I have a quarrel with him. Yeah, fuck it hell, man. Right, okay, so basically what you're saying is that, because I found it similar as well, like I started out with I want to become an actor and that's all I want to be, because I just had that mentality of like, if you're going to do something you have to commit fucking 100%, nothing else. And then like, I love acting, but it doesn't fulfill me completely. And then I started doing stand-up. I was like, oh, this is, I'm being me. I'm expressing what I want to talk about, what I want to express, you know. And then I started doing the podcast as a way to get to know people, and then just a way to get myself out in front of people as well. And then I realized I love these conversations that I'm having with people.
Yeah.
Also, so I guess you're going to have to start commentating the UFC next. And
I just keep going. I mean, it's endless. I mean, my plan this year is to release an album. Which I've never done, and that's always been something I want to do, so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to aim to play live gigs with the new character and band. Do you know what I mean? Different from the other band, but like my own project. So I think then it's like limitless, like where you can where you can go. Like I don't feel at all pigeonholed or like stuck in one environment. I realise that you can, whatever your talents are, and people who we meet in this kind of environment tend to be quite multi-talented. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And have multi-interests. I mean,
And it allows you to, because I used to be, you know, and there's always that big old speech of like, you know, you fucking focus on one thing and you do that and da 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 da. But I have noticed that like if you're around the same industry type thing, because I'm around self-expression, so between doing the pod, between doing the stand-up and the acting, they do kind of all feed into each other.
Yeah. Always when I saw Jamie Foxx he was like doing everything.
Yeah, I mean he was doing stand-up,
singer, and stand-up. I'm like, fucking hell, this guy does everything.
He's got a special coming out apparently.
Oh, has he? Like a stand-up special?
Yeah, well, it's gonna be stand-up, but maybe not. I don't know because I don't know what.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I've seen it promoted. I saw a clip from the Joe Rogan podcast, Cancel Me, where you were talking about Jamie Foxx's special coming out. So I was like, oh fuck, okay.
Yeah. And that should be good. I like Jamie Foxx. He is funny.
Yeah.
He's probably funnier than some of the stand-ups that are getting more fucking airtime. I suppose he's kind of seen as an actor.
He is now. I mean, he was a musician back. Like I remember his stand-up bit where he had this "fuck you, fa 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 fa."
Yeah. I've not seen that. No.
Oh, it's fucking classic. Which actually that reminded me of Chindiana Jones. The ending of Chindiana Jones.
What was the ending?
Well, the one I saw at the Classic Grand, you brought out the piano.
Oh yeah, and I was talking about my gay experience.
Yeah.
That was a funny story. That was a funny fake story.
Fucking 2024, man.
No, I'm joking. I know. That's what it is, isn't it?
He was deep throating that stuff.
Aye, you need
the vapes.
Sometimes you just need a wee cock sucked a few
He was like, why does this vape taste exactly like
you can get all different flavours of vapes.
Penis because it's 2024.
Aye, there will be a male penis flavour soon. You can get fucking steak pie flavour.
Really?
No. I wouldn't be surprised. Christmas dinner flavour.
Fucking the taste of the childhood you never had.
Aye.
Tastes like your mum cares about you and your dad's not mental.
And that's quite funny. I mean, that's quite a wee cool sketch. Like, the flavour is the thing they're escaping from, or do you know what I mean? Like, do you know how, like, the addiction is?
Yeah.
Like what you said there, like, why are we addicts is because generally we have disease and we're trying to escape our mind.
Yeah.
So maybe the flavour could be everything that's caused this addiction. Do you know what I mean? Maybe that's a bit too fucking meta or something. I don't know.
I mean, they could work that way as well. It could be the flavour of it, you know, you're smoking literally like, you know, your mother's hugs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
fucking, I remember these. And everyone just crying in front of the vape shop, like, man, they used to be class. But that was a little subtle segue there to, you know, our mental dads. I say that with love. But it was fascinating to find out that we both kind of grew up culty.
Yeah.
And I just realised that the penguin's wearing a fucking midsummer type.
I was going to say, it's giving. Was it to say it's giving midsummer? It's giving pube pie.
Yeah, it's like some sort of spring sacrifice.
Yeah. Have you seen Midsummer? Right?
Yeah, I have. That was the I saw that in the cinema.
It was great.
I enjoyed it. I went in with the expectation.
Jarring, wasn't it? It was like because it was all in the daytime.
Yes.
And the music, it felt like just keeping your eyes open for an hour and a half. Do you know what I mean? It was like. And
there's the shagging scene, spoilers, but like, you know, when the whole village is there.
When they jump off the fucking cliff.
Yeah.
That bit's when you're like, oh. Or what is it? Did they not eat like a pube pie or something like that?
It's not a pube pie, it's a pie with menstrual blood in it. Or it might be pubes in it.
No, there is definitely pubes in it.
Oh, you might be.
No, I've watched it and I saw the pube.
I rewind. I fucking put it on rewind.
I paused it.
I just watched it going, you know, pube going in and out of his mouth. Like,
I know what pubes look like, and that was pubes, so. Anyway, sorry, you were saying yes, we're culty.
Yeah, no, it was just, I mean, I don't even know. How are you feeling? See, what I found myself is being in it, it's a whole completely different experience. You come out of it, there's a period of rage, then you make peace, and then years down the line, something gets triggered like a fucking Soviet spy, you know, you go, oh fuck, this is because of that as well.
Yeah.
So now I'm in that phase where I'm like, oh, there's a lot more work I need to be doing on myself.
Well, I'm not going to try and say you, like, I didn't have, it wasn't culty, right? But from what I've gathered, I feel like yours might have been a bit more culty than mine.
Right, okay.
Well, I don't know, but like, it wasn't that ours wasn't culty, it's just my dad wasn't, he didn't really force it on us.
Okay.
We grew up around it, and he would tell us about it, and he would say it as if it's the truth, and he would argue if we ever disagreed. But
should we name it as well, just so you know what we're talking about? So
well, I grew up, my dad was Christian in a Baptist church.
A Baptist church, right, okay. I was a Jehovah's Witness, an offshoot of Jehovah's Witnesses in Romania. So it's still Jehovah's Witness, but slightly more old school in some respects.
Yeah.
But cults get confusing because they don't always do what you'd expect them to do.
Yeah.
So they were modern in some respects, not so modern in others.
Yeah. I think, mate, I just literally got confused in my head and I thought you were a Mormon. I did. See, I came in the other day, I remember you told me you were, and sometimes they conflate those two, Jehovah and Mormon.
Because they both show up at your door, don't they?
Yeah. that's exactly it. Aye.
I mean, is there anybody else that does that?
Fucking the TV guy.
Yeah.
The BBC TV licence.
Yeah, and so every now and again someone to donate for a charity.
Yeah. Aye, so I grew up Christian. I mean, there was people, like my dad didn't force me to go to church after the age of 12. He forced me to go until then, so I I'll be honest, as a child, it just never clicked with me. Like, I just never understood why everybody was singing, closing their eyes, got their hands in the air, running about, screaming, and it's just like, I don't feel what they're feeling. I don't know what's going on here, and it just seemed a bit fake. It just felt false. I was like, why? All these people are like dressed, all the women are like dressed up, and they all smell great, perfume and makeup on, and the guys are on suits, and I was like, even as a child, I think I just was a bit sceptical. I'm like, what is this all about? Why does everybody look amazing and all that to go and
then you go home?
Well, worshipping Jesus, who apparently was the opposite of that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Jesus is not famous for his fucking suits and Armadillo,
for
is
his
he?
Hugo Boss suit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He wasn't caught about with like.
What was the story? He comes into the temple and they're all gambling and shit. And
oh no, they're selling like different stuff, and he chases them out with a whip.
Aye, that was that. I remember that.
Because he turns the tables over because because they turn religion into commerce. 2024. I wonder where that's happening these days. Yeah, pricks.
But our church was obviously you've probably heard some of my stand-up talking about the church.
Yeah. And
how I just found it like with the musicians and all that, like the guitarists are doing like 10-minute solos. Like headbanging, and I'm like, is this about Jesus or you? Because I don't think you need to be playing a fucking twin-neck guitar.
In the 90s these witnesses were heavily oppressed during communism, right? Yeah. So in the 90s suddenly freedom came. And you know that for a communist nation, that was like fucking possibilities of the shit you've been dreaming about at the West, you can finally do here as well, right? And they had a choir conductor, and this guy once turned up wearing a tuxedo.
The choir conductor then?
Yeah. For like one of these conferences.
Yeah.
And that was partially the reason he got kicked out. Like, why are you fucking wearing a tux?
Oh, that's good though.
Like, because they're big on like, you have to be humble, and it's like you're getting too fancy now, son.
Aye.
And apparently they didn't like him. I don't know the details, but the story was like he would be a bit, stubborn in his ways.
Yeah.
So they were like, I don't think Jesus wants to. Jesus doesn't.
I think is it wrong with wearing a suit if you're still putting Jesus first? Do you know what I mean? But it just seems like.
Yeah, but he was wearing a tux.
Aye.
As a conductor would.
Yeah.
But they were like, nah. That's too much. Fuck you. But then on the other hand, I know people that got molested and they got swept under the rug. So, fucking priorities. Aye. Tuxedo's too much, but...
Aye. The way draw the line at the fucking tuxedo.
But, I've told this story partially with Peter, but I knew the guy that was accused. I did not know this at the time. I was a kid.
Yeah.
But like we knew the rumors, and we were still friends. I hung out with this man.
Yeah.
But they just wouldn't believe it because the accuser was a little girl, and they were like, "Yeah, nah, we're not."
Was it similar?
Women,
was
you
it
know.
similar age to you?
The guy was old. He was a grandpa.
Well, we had scandals as well. When I talking my stand up about one of the guys in the church, he used to hand out Starburst, like the sweeties to the kids. Literally, this guy used to stand at the front of the church service before the service, and he'd have his hands out like that, right? And he'd go, "What colour is it? What colour is it?" And if you got the colour right, he'd give you 2, and if you got it wrong. If you got it wrong, he'd
violently.
No, he would give you 1. But like, he turned out to be a pedo, and it was like, the
church check, sweets check,
big glasses check.
Yes.
It was like,
Work for the BBC.
It was like it's fucking in plain sight.
It's because it's a weird one because you don't want to be walking around going, "Oh, who's a pedo?" Because like that's paranoia, innit? You can't be walking around with pedo until proven innocent. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's not realistic and it's not healthy, but it's something.
But there is something. There's a correlation between those environments and nonsense.
Yeah, well, it's just position of power, of trust, and
almost maybe on their side the repressed kind of sexuality and
an opportunity to be around children as well,
because that kind of whole repressed like sexuality and abstinence and all that, and just no shagging before you're married, and it must like create some horny men, horny devils.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting because like with the witnesses I grew up with, there was the kind of you're not supposed to shag before marriage, but then there were many scandals of like, oh my god, have you heard what they've done? Oof, barred for like 3 months and then you're back in. Somebody recently, they'll do shit like that. Somebody I know recently got kicked out because they had a partner. They were dating someone who was from the world, so not part of the cult, and they did a bit of shagging. And basically the guy went up to him and was like, "Have you two..." Like the elders, imagine some random guy that you see at church comes up to you, is like, "Right, Mark, so we've seen that you've been hanging out with this lassie. Has there been cock and vagina, yeah?"
Really? Is that those?
Like they they don't ask those specific terms, but that's what they're hinting at.
Wow.
And then he went, "Aye," and they were like, "Okay, you're not allowed to pray for I don't know how many months."
You're not allowed to pray.
Shit like that.
That's mental, man. That's really. It's just backwards, isn't it?
It is, man, it is, and I'm very much still skirting on the line of getting, like, my parents have not disowned me yet. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, so it's one of those things where my parents are chill.
Yeah.
They also don't speak English that well, so they don't know how much I'm slagging the call.
I genuinely watch this and just like, Silas is doing very well. I don't know why they speak like more that, but like, that's what I just imagine.
Yeah, that's how my parents talk to me.
Like do you know Gita?
Yeah.
From Latvia, like,
yeah.
Gita's like, I love her accent so much. She's very like, she's almost like a vampire.
So
Mark.
Yes. Cold wind came in
fucking Baltic.
Yeah, no, like when I first heard Gita, I started howling because she sounded exactly like these like Eastern European TV voiceover type personalities, like just so official and proper.
Yeah, that's what I saw her at the stand the first time. That's why I got her to open for me. I was like, just howling, laughing. I thought it was such a. Fucking believe that was her voice, and then also just her jokes were really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And even your perspective as well. It's interesting, like perspectives you have as a comedian living in Scotland. I mean, being a Hungarian Romanian.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It's been fun for me, and my challenge has been sort of navigating what do I talk about, but like I've got certain perspectives and certain feelings and, you know, baggage that I bring with my heritage, and then I realize that some things, if I talk about, the immediate reaction of the audience is actually to feel bad for me.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to do stand up, you don't
want sympathy.
I mean, I don't mind sympathy, but I want them to be able to laugh as well.
Yeah,
but if
they
they just found out something horrific to them, which is maybe it's my reality for like so long, to them it's like, oh.
Yeah.
And you're like, fucking laugh! Laugh at my pain! Come on!
I don't want fucking sympathy.
I'm trying to get paid!
It's like...
I'm trying to get booked again!
I was talking about this the other day about how, I don't know if it was like this for you in school and stuff, see like if you get a bit of bullying or something and like a girl would step in and step up for you and be like, leave him alone, or that's a shame, you'd be like, nah, fuck off. Because if like you're too proud, you're like...
I mean, yes and no, but also it's like, it's kind of helping. It's nice to have somebody step in, but at the same time, now you're going to be like, oh my god, you had a girl step in for you.
Yeah. No, I get more angry at the girl rather than the bully. Yeah. I'm not, leave me alone, let me be bullied in peace.
Fair enough.
I mean, I had it in the comedy final of the year, man. I just 2021.
You haven't even mentioned that fucking this guy was in the final of So You Think You're Funny.
Oh, I was final of that as well, but I was in Scottish Comedian of the Year.
Oh fuck, okay.
Where Liam Farrelly won it that year.
Yeah.
And I just
prick.
No,
love
Liam.
It's hilarious.
I just blanked.
Really?
Aye, and it was like silence. And then then people started clapping. Come on. No, because I just like see people clapping. It was great support, but it's just almost like I felt just like. But that's pride. Do you know what I mean? That's the ego. That's the ego being hurt.
Yeah.
So fuck it, mate. See having these fucking bombing moments and low moments. It takes you more and more out of your own head. They're good. There's something quite actually. Do you ever get that feeling if you've bombed like? Or just no got a good reaction or much a reaction, it just feels quite freeing almost. It feels shit at the beginning, but after you're just like, it's like that whole only way is up kind of feeling. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
I mean it is, because you realise that bombing is not as bad as you thought it would be.
Yeah.
And you realise, again, focus on the controllables.
Mm-hmm.
Try your best.
Yeah.
Whatever the reaction is, you don't control that.
Yeah.
You do not control what the reaction is.
Yeah.
And I mean, speaking of gigs, because I said I wanted to tell this story to you. So this past weekend, I had one of the most, I don't know how to frame this. Is it the most horrifically beautiful or the most beautifully horrific gigs I've ever done? It was one of the best gigs of my life. Halfway through, someone shouted the N-word for no...
Oh shit, really?
So, I should start with, this was in Dundee. My first time doing a gig in Dundee.
Yeah.
The opening act, it was like a rough pub in some sort of scheme. The opening act was Rachel Jackson. She's lovely. She's hilarious. I mean, I like her anyway. But this crowd, like, you could tell they were not into it.
No.
To the extent when there were guys in the back fucking rolling their eyes that there's a woman on stage, and some cunt was like, I fucking paid 12 quid for this!
And then they just shouted the N-word.
No, but this is... And then they just fucking, like... Somebody shouted, like, they were interrupting, they were shouting, they were everything, right?
Oh,
no, Alan Ritchie went up and he's doing his set, and he gets to the jokes about dolphins. Again, no spoilers. He's doing jokes about dolphins when some random cunt in the crowd shouts the N-word twice.
It doesn't even make sense.
I know!
When just unprovoked, no context.
Unprovoked N-word.
N-word.
Yes! And at this point, I was just like, so like the human in me is like, what the fuck did you just say? Like, I'm looking around, everyone's looking around, people are like, shut the fuck up, you know, you're not supposed to say the quiet part out loud, kind of thing. And
why? I just don't even get like.
Well,
no, sorry.
I had to find out, but like, you know, the mayhem goblin in me, you know, the chaos demon was like, this is amazing.
This is going to make a good clip.
Yeah. And basically, Then later on, he started shouting "F the Jews."
Oh, wow.
Like, this guy was having, I don't know what was going on. Only finally he gets kicked out. Oh, thank fuck, peace on earth, right? And then his pal comes up to me at the very end. He congratulates me, you know, good gig, son. I mean, I couldn't, you know, they're all, it was very much a standoffish vibe while I was up there, but I was still getting them to laugh. But now he's like, well done, son, fucking, that was a solid gig. And I was like, thank you, right? By the way, I know him. He's not like that. He's not like that, son.
He's not like that after he's...
After he committed several hate crimes. He's like, I gave him some new gear and I don't think it agreed with him. So I was keeping an eye on him. I was trying to give him some uppers. But he was just... He was in a dark place, son. He's not like
the gear. The gear was cut with racism.
No.
That's funny when people do that, though, because it's like, no, that is the real him. Do you know what I mean? They look at it as the other way, and it's like, no, listen, I know I've done some mental things on cocaine that I regret, but you can't kind of say it's no you sometimes. If you know what I mean? I don't know if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. It's like...
Like, would you say the N-word with cocaine in your system? Probably no.
I have not.
And why is
it hasn't
that?
happened yet.
I've never said the N-word while on cocaine, so why have I not? It's probably because no matter how many drugs I've got,
the evil part of my brain is like, I don't need cocaine. I'm sorry, you know, that's the goblin in me. But
he's not like that. That's funny.
No, I mean, I fucking hope I wouldn't. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
The thing is, because you don't know what's going on in someone's head. If he's like, I don't know, if he's fucking suffering and he doesn't know how to express himself, so he thinks of the most horrific thing to do to fucking get attention. Can I see that happen? Yeah, but it's still like, it's still fucking heavy question mark, raised eyebrow, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it was just... Yeah, it was the first time at a gig where I felt unsafe, but also like, I went up like a fucking cult leader. I was like, right, I'm fucking handling this like a fucking congregation. Like, you, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you've got to, man, sometimes. I remember Gary Falls did that at a gig in Drum Chapel, because we were on the dance floor. It was like a dance floor and we were doing the gig in the centre.
Yeah.
We Pierce went up and he smashed it. I went up, it was alright. And but people were just going to the toilet, taking gear, they wouldn't shut up. Gary Falls went up and he stopped, before he did his set, he literally like gave the whole room a fucking lecture and told them to shut the fuck up. And they did for a bit, and then gradually you hear the noise getting louder. But I was, hats off to him, man, that was fucking bold of him to do that, because it was a pretty wild room, but I suppose he probably garnered a bit more respect than we did. I mean, maybe more people knew who he was, so they were like, fuck.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting one, fucking commanding a room like that, because it's like sometimes they want you to slag them. Is this weird?
Yeah.
There's this weird boisterous energy that I see in Scotland. I'm guessing it's all over the UK, but in some rooms it's like nobody fucking tells me what to say, but then they love being told that they're pieces of shit. Kind of.
Yeah.
Like my opening thing was pointing out they all had bald spots and fucking leopard prints, and they started laughing at that, and I'm like, great, I know who you are now.
Sometimes I find, see, stand up, like my view on it has changed a lot since I've started doing it, and it's probably kind of shaped the way I'm doing it currently, because I feel like really well constructed jokes are like maybe trying to be a bit too political or maybe a bit too smart isn't what the audience want as much.
Well, it depends on the audience.
Yeah, it does depend on the audience, you're right, but for me, the comedy I've now found myself I like doing is, like you were saying, you can actually get a bigger laugh from just saying to somebody, look at the fucking state of you. Do you know what I mean? I feel like audiences really love when you slaughter them.
Yeah, there's definitely a
like sometimes that can get more of a laugh than a really well thought out joke. That's what I'm saying. Like,
and no, you're right. You're right.
It's good to have a mix, I suppose.
Yeah, you need to be able to do both.
Aye, it's almost like you can't there's some, you know, like comedian Paul Smith.
Yeah.
Scouse guy, right?
You don't, mate. he's got that. There's been a running joke. It's like in his clips. It's like, what do you do? I'm a teacher. You're a pedo, mate.
Oh, aye. Well, him for example, right? And no hate on him. I just think, for me, it's no the kind of. I just don't think it's good comedy. I mean, he's making people laugh, but I don't find it particularly interesting because I'm not saying he's not got a skill there and interacting with audiences.
Yeah.
But for me, stand-up comedy should be about jokes and, well, let's be honest, I've actually not went to see him live, so maybe I'm just judging it from his online
persona, right?
Aye, but I think it's a bit, it is like you said, it can be a bit like, oh, you're a pedo, mate. And it's like, where is the joke? Where's a written joke?
I mean, I had to learn as well, you know, it's very easy to use objective terms for subjective experience type thing. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you, like, it's not the kind of comedy I would seek out.
Yeah.
I've got no ill will towards the guy, but you're not going to be...
It doesn't mean it's no comedy,
I'm not going to be binging his specials one after the other, but man's doing his thing, people are laughing, so it's definitely someone's comedy.
That's true. That's very true, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I had to learn as well, because we talked about this a bit earlier, perfectionism and all that. And I very much had that mentality of, fucking, there's a right way and a wrong way.
Yeah.
And I guess to some things there is, but like to comedy, I'm like, well, if they're fucking laughing.
Yeah. That's true. I think, yeah, you're right. I agree with you. But I think there is an element where I do feel like some things can be quite surface level, and I know you're going to get that in every industry.
Yeah.
I cannot. Just certain art that just doesn't dig at all. It's just like low. It just talks low hanging fruit is what I'm trying to get.
The most obvious things you'd think of.
Yeah, and and it's like why is some art considered better than other art? It's probably because people.
But then you ask the question.
The art should have more depth to it because humans have depth to them, and we're not just one fucking dimension. You know what I mean? That's why I think art that has more depth to it is more interesting because it actually shows humans for what they are. I think interesting.
Yeah.
In depth.
Complicated.
Messy. Yeah. So that's what I mean. So surface, just even if it's music, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having a song that's 3 chords, but where's like it's got to evoke an emotion in me. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
Whether if it could be a shite, cheesy pop tune, but if it evokes an emotion in me, then I'm like, well, that's good.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. So, but I agree with you, and I experienced that as well. I had to reframe it for myself because I was like, well, I didn't pick my taste, they didn't pick theirs.
Yeah.
It's evoking emotion out of them.
Yeah.
The emotion it's evoking out of me is I need to fucking stop watching this.
Yeah. No, true, man. I definitely agree with you. I found myself ranting less and less about, like, I suppose my recovery's helped with that because what
you're trying to say is that's what's wrong with this country, is right?
Well, no, it is. No, mate, genuinely, you're right. Like, the thing is that a lot of our humour, especially in the UK, comes from bitchiness and not even just the UK. I mean, we grew up in South Park. I mean, South Park's just the fucking epitome of
slagging.
Do you know what I mean? So there is that element to comedy where you're slagging people.
Yeah. And most of the time it's playful slagging. Every now and again it's fucking pointed slagging.
Well, if you look at Frankie Boyle, I always liked because he would do stuff that was quite harsh, but it was also just like doing something that's that harsh, but it's so well written that you can't laugh at it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I always loved, and I've always tried to keep that in mind when I'm doing comedy. Is like, this can be harsh and offend some people, but see if you can offend them but also still make them laugh. Like, I can't no laugh at this. Do you know what I mean? Even, for example, if I do like a parody of somebody and they like that person, but they're like, I like that person but this is funny. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's allowing 2 thoughts, 2 feelings to exist at once.
Aye.
One is like, I care about this, you know. Don't be a prick now, I care about them. But at the same time, like, yeah, but they do that though. You see it like, you see examples of that in when people, you see a comedian do like an observational bit, and someone in the audience goes, "That's fucking you, by the way," and they're both laughing at whatever this guy's saying.
Aye.
It's fucking Brenda and Sandra just going, "That's so fucking you, Sandra."
Aye, but you're right when you're saying there's no point in wasting your time. What I'm saying is, we do have a tendency. Well, I do, and other people I know.
Oh, plenty of people
to just immediately make a judgment on somebody, and it's. See if you've got any sort of resentment, even if it's towards another comedian, like fucking. You're like, I hate him. He's shite. It's like that. You realise that is internalised. Do you know what I mean? That's a manifestation of your own. Well,
it's partially your frustration of maybe not having what that comedian's having.
Yeah.
Partially it's so it's frustration of like, I've been fucking working hard and I'm not getting there.
Yeah.
Two, you might feel unjustly treated because like, I'm working just as hard and I'm doing better jokes and I'm not getting that. But then at the same time, that person, they've done the work, they were at the right place, right time, connected, done all that, and they built up that audience.
Yeah.
Do you want to be doing their gigs? Like, do you want to do the comedy they're doing to the audience they're doing it? No. So why are you being it? Do you know what I mean?
Totally right, aye. And yeah, definitely, man. I agree. It's completely wasted energy thinking about other people's.
I mean, but it comes from a place. It's an energy that needs to be expressed in a healthy way, and then understood and maybe redirected.
Yeah. Well, where does it come from? There's probably feelings of like inadequacy in there as well, which are deeper. Do you know what I mean? They're not just to do with your comedy career. Like, that's deep. Like,
why am I not accepted as
not
they
good
are?
enough?
Why am I? Well, see, that's the good enough one is a fascinating one, right? We go into therapy talk now, and I don't mind that because you've been talking about recovery, which we should probably. We chat about, and we've had conversations like this before, but like the whole good enough thing, like we have two fucking, it's like we have conflicting desires. One, you want to be learning, you want to be evolving, you're never going to be smart enough, there's always something else to know, but there's a part of you that wants to prove something once and for all. Like, I want to validate myself once and for all, so I can stop worrying about that, right? And if you like kind of tie your validation to external factors, other people, how they feel about you, or if you tie your validation to succeeding and getting to a level, then it's never going to be enough, because that validation will never happen. You will never feel that once and for all, I fucking showed, done it.
Totally, man. Totally, yep.
And it's a mindfuck. Like, I had to learn, partially because of the whole Jehovah's Witness thing of like, all validation comes from within.
Yeah.
And that it's kind of automatic. You need to allow it to happen as opposed to fucking trying to earn it all the time.
Yeah. I think I've definitely, once I've achieved things or got things, I've came to that realisation that this isn't it. And you get there and you go, oh wait, this isn't it. This isn't the key. This isn't it. And but I think, what was I going to say? My fucking mind's went blank. We were talking about validation.
I mean, I don't know, the context is validation, and maybe some of the recovery stuff you've been doing as well, and just success and achieving and having resentment.
Yeah, like I've had to have those moments maybe. I mean, I didn't have to have them, but having those moments where I maybe got something that I thought I always wanted, and I'm like, oh shit, wait, that isn't it. And there's still some part of me that there's certain things that I'm still learning to let go of. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think the financial security has probably been the biggest one, because letting go of like your financial worries and just accepting that what will be and everything's going to be alright is a hard fucking thing to do, especially in this capitalist environment where we're getting fucking squeezed. And it's like, because in recovery we talk about higher power, whether that's the universe or if it's God, whatever you want to call it. It's like they talk about handing everything over to God or to a higher power, and it's like it's hard to hand over my money. That's my fucking money.
I work for it.
But there, that lies the problem. I'm saying it's whenever I'm claiming, I think that's what I was going to say. It's reminding me. Whenever I'm claiming the good things that are happening to me, I'm going to claim the bad shit as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And when the good stuff's not there, I'm going to feel like nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I get if you're taking pride.
I can't take credit for anything.
But
you have to say it's no me. Personally, that's the way I feel. I have to say that, because as soon as I say it's me, I think it's me that I'm invested in the character, Mark, comedian.
Yes and no. I get you. My perspective, I've got to that same kind of, I guess, way of thinking, but slightly different angle.
Right.
Which was, instead of saying it's not me, I go, well, I tried my best, right? But trying my best is, I'm always trying my relative best, and I don't know what my best is until I actually fucking try, right? Yeah. So I have the same intention of, trying my best, and sometimes I get great results, sometimes I get fuck all, sometimes I fuck it up royally, right? Mm-hmm. But I go, well, I tried my best, like I tried, right? And basically, I don't take credit for the result, I take credit for the trying.
The trying, right, okay, I see, right? It's a different angle,
So basically I go, well, I got there because I tried, but also because there's other conditions and shit, stars lined up kind of thing.
Yeah.
No,
that also does. That is logical.
So I take credit. I don't take credit for the final result.
No.
Ever. I take credit for my part in it.
Even if it goes really, really well, you don't take credit for the final result.
I try not to. Right. I try not to, like, because see if you have a great this, like if in comedy and in so many different things, you show up on the night, you're feeling your greatest, you fucking put your best foot forward, and you're going fuck all, the audience is not laughing.
Yeah.
And I can be like, well, they're being pricks. It's just not their cup of tea on the night. They're not feeling it. And I can work around and I can do all sorts. Sometimes it's still not gonna fucking work out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And other nights I do the same material. Other nights I'm not feeling that great. Like I know that I'm not doing as well as some other nights I'm doing. Like my heart's, split. I've got worries going in my head.
Yeah.
So I'm not fully in it. And I'm getting fucking thunderous applause. And I'm like, where were you fucking 2 nights ago? You should have seen me when I was on the top of my game.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've said this to my sponsor before. I'm like, we have picked quite a hard environment to be constantly, emotion, in terms of our emotions.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you think from when you first got into stand-up, like the rush it gave you. It's quite a difficult environment to be constantly trying to keep your ego in check and dealing with these fucking. But then again, that's if you are invested and you're getting some sort of validation from the result.
Well, yeah, and that's the interesting thing, because so I had this theory of, because we want validation to be sort of become more permanent is what we want. I mean, I think fundamentally we all just want to feel like I've proven myself once and for all. I'm enough. I don't have to worry about this anymore, right? I think that's the underlying deep desire. So you do something that you're doing well at, and you achieve something, and you have the option to say, I tried my best, they were up for it, tonight was a good night, thank you, next. Or you can say, fucking check me out, not only that I do well, it's because I am fundamentally this fucking good.
Yeah.
So now you're trying to make the success more permanent.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying, I'm fundamentally valid, worthy.
Yeah.
So you're conflating the two, so now you're making this a thing. And then once you've done that, once you say, it's because I'm this fucking good, then it's very easy to be looking around like, so who else is this good now? Let me see.
That's true, man. That's fucking very well put. Yeah.
That's what 10 years of therapy will do for you.
Yeah, man, I'm on one. I would call my recovery therapy, because it kind of is. It's not. Yeah. It is. The way I have to look at it, because I have. The amazing thing about recovery is people think it's just a program to stop drinking, right?
Yeah.
But it's the programs. Yes, initially, the aim is you need to stop drinking or using drugs because you're going to die, and that is the aim of you want that to continue. But the 12-step program is in place, and I'm not saying everything's perfect about it, but it's a system that's worked for so many people, and it's about surrendering and also handing over your will to something that's not you, whether you believe it's a god or the universe. My higher power could be the people sitting in a meeting with me. So they basically say, like, once you hand it over and you turn towards this higher power, away from Mark and what Mark wants in life, that you will stay off. You will be helping other people, hence getting out of self. The aim is to get out of self. So that's what the program does, and you do it through those steps. You do a 4th step where you write down all your fears, resentment. I mean, you've probably done sort of similar things in therapy. You write down your fears, resentments, and your harms you've done to people. Because the main, sorry, I'm waffling a bit, but the main thing is that people don't realise that the drugs and alcohol or anything is not the problem, it's the solution to the problem. The problem is the mind, the disease.
So if you would put it as a cycle, if you look at it that way, then there's an inner problem that is requiring some sort of outlet. You find the drugs, then the drug potentially makes that problem worse.
By killing you eventually.
Or killing you eventually, or it's a temporary, momentary solution. But over time, it makes it worse because that cycle stops working again. The novelty will wear off, your body gets used to it, you want more and more of it. And also at some point you kind of go, there was the promise of, like, you're going to feel okay about yourself, you're going to feel valid about yourself going forward, and you're not. So then, you have to go back to the origins, or the first step of the cycle, and then be like
you were saying earlier, you have to sort this out first. Like, it's the core that you have to sort out. It's not everything around it. It's, try to rearrange everything. You're the passenger. Do you know what I mean? And they're in the passenger seat. And it's a hard thing, because I thought, how can I live in this, like, state of just, like, pure consciousness, or, like, I don't know if that's what you call it, but this state of just not doing anything and just floating through the day. But the more I actually practice that kind of spirituality, I actually do get stuff done, even when I'm in a state of, like, not doing what I want. Things still happen in my life. It's not like I'm just sitting like a fucking meditating all day every day. Do you know what I mean? Life goes on and I can still function, but I'm not invested in the outcome of everything. Do you know what I mean? That's most of my worries most of my anxiety comes from trying to manage my own life and the outcomes. You know what I mean?
And the outcomes, and again, it's like pride, or it's a weird one, because I feel like pride and validation, they kind of link together very closely. So I think basically, I'm about to lose my own thought, but the point I was trying to make is, like, the more things you attach your pride validation to, the more neurotic you become. And I think the fundamental fear that I think I have, and I think many people have, I mean, I think all people have it, but the most terrible thing we can imagine is sort of fucking up so badly that the shame will never go away. Or like you're just going to be locked in automatically into shame for the rest of your life. Because we're not afraid of dying as much as we're afraid of, dying having shame. I think that's the biggest motivator, positively and negatively, for humans. So the quicker you manage to sort of detach that and understand that, what you need is you have within, you don't have to fucking constantly be topping up, then it does give you a bit more self-esteem, it gives you a bit more peace as well. Because then that neuroticism, like, oh fuck, I'm gonna lose it, that goes away. Like it's a very unique perspective once you start going down that route. But I did get to a stage where I was like, well, I'll try my best. Most likely it's gonna be fine. If it's not fine, I'll try to deal with it. If I can deal with it, it's not gonna be a problem anymore, is it? Once I'm gone, I'm gone. I don't have to worry about it.
It's true.
And it does help, but every now and again that little voice still kicks in, so I need to deal with it.
Yeah, but that's why I suppose I have to do recovery every day. It's a constant, like, I have to constantly be reminded of, constantly, I was saying to you earlier about saying your thoughts out loud or writing them down or talking to a sponsor, like, it illuminates the kind of how ridiculous they can be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Actually saying them to someone, because it's the exact way that someone tells you something, they've got some anxiety or fear, and it's when they tell you, they're like, that's ridiculous, why would you even think of that, right? But then when it's flipped, it's like, I'll have the same mental thoughts. Yeah. And it's because I'm not attached to your ego. If you're telling me stuff that you're anxious about, and to me it sounds like, why would you even be worried about that? It's because I've not have the attachment to your ego, that's you, do you know what I mean? And that's a crazy thing, because I would always notice that growing up, is like, how can I give people good advice but not take it myself?
Yeah. And I've found that, like, a lot of, like, the male mental help, well, not even male mental help, it's more like
Madweight.
Madweight.
No, there's an organisation called Madweight, and it's men with issues.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's
acronym.
Good shit. I actually want to say, like, the male influencers now. There's a lot of influences in the male fucking men being men. We need to go back to fucking men suffering and being okay with it. Your cunts type thinking.
Aye, like Andrew Tate.
Yeah,
your fellow countryman.
But yeah, well, he's British, living in Romania, you know.
He's British American, isn't he?
I love how every country around the world's like, he's not ours, he's fucking. I thought he was yours. I thought he was American.
But his accent sounds like he's from every fucking continent at once.
Brits are going. That's his American side talking, you know. But what I was going to say was, like, right now there's this resurgence of this fucking, you know, trying to give men a purpose type stuff by making them not talk about their emotions and just fucking get on with it, you know. And the point I was trying to make is, I think they talk about being emotional as if it's a bad thing. Like, they're not fucking being emotional 24/7. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
exactly. Yeah.
Like,
you guys need to stop being emotional. Fucking hell.
It's like, what is that? What do you call that? You can't.
I know.
Like,
I know.
Without emotion, you don't want anything. How did you realise that you had a dream? You felt it, you prick.
Right. That
was an emotion, you dumb cunt. But I get really angry with that fucking type of thinking. But they're basically conflating emotions with insecurity. And they're going, you becoming no, you're being insecure. Listen to that emotion and try to redirect it and try to understand it. Instead of being like, no, the emotion is the problem, not the underlying fucking hole, the lack. It's like the same
the drink's not the problem, it's all your issues underlying. Yeah,
it's the fact that you feel inside that you're not worthy enough.
Yeah.
You know, that's it.
Yeah.
Or that you're worthy enough now, but you might lose it.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. But we looked at that, and some people looked at it, instead of going, what's going on here? They just went, we just fucking stop doing that, just stop being a little bitch.
Yeah.
And then, why are men dying? I don't fucking know. I get fucking raging with these pricks.
No, I know. And I think because there's also there's a lot of, like, men. I suppose the way the problems the women have with men. What am I trying to say here? There's a pushback that, like, men who don't want to admit that it's mostly men that are killing women and raping women, and, like, men sometimes see that as like this is an attack on.
Hashtag not all men.
So, like, we have to.
And not all men.
So yes, but we have to, like. I understand the feeling of, like, when somebody goes, men are trash. It's like, well, I'm a man.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I can understand the language from one side, but also you can understand from a woman's perspective that they're fed up. It's like, this is just talking about this is forever. This has been going on. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, since people have been people.
So it's like, they're fed up, so they're going to use some strong language when they're fed up, and it might be generalizations, but the trick is not to get fucking offended by that, but, like, I feel like there's people on both sides that are very toxic, but There's a rational debate to be had in the middle. See when anybody's 100% anything.
Yeah,
I mean, like, you're skeptical straight away. It's like anybody that's 100% anything and has never questioned any of their beliefs.
You're either naive or you're a prick.
Aye. It's like
In my book.
There's always a fucking debate to be had. There's no just you're scum because you voted for Trump, or you're scum because you voted for. It's like,
yeah, there's something that happened. I mean, I was actually planning on potentially getting a historian / anthropologist or something on, because I kind of want to ask what the fuck is going on right now, because all across the free world we seem to be having a very angry reaction and voting right wing. Like, for instance, in Romania right now,
pushback, aye.
Yeah, like in Romania right now, it wasn't even the right wing party that got into power. Some random cunt who got kicked out of the right wing party for being too much of a weirdo and racist.
He got elected?
He didn't get elected. He got this because it's 2 rounds.
Oh, okay.
So you get round 1, round 2, and I think the top couple of people from the round 1 get into round 2. Right? Long story short, this guy that got kicked out of the right wing nationalistic party for being too much went on TikTok, suddenly flooded TikTok, and there's some influencers got paid off and all sorts of shit. The guy got the most votes, and it's wild because he's one of these, like, Trump is a mad cunt, but at least he wasn't talking about like how men get their energy from the sun and women get their energy from the earth. Therefore, women should not be wearing trousers because they're locking out the energy. That was the guy's wife that said that.
Wow.
You know, so it's like this new age.
She's got a point.
The fucking. I keep forgetting that people are picking up microwaves now. Do you know what I mean? Like.
It's like I think Frankie Boyle put it really well. I can't even remember what he said. He was talking about like choosing between the two candidates is like choosing. He said something about like a monkey driving a combine harvester, and it was like I'm going to just butcher the joke. But anyway, it's like choosing between 2 narcissists. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, like it's been a long time since I felt good about choosing anyone in a political.
Nah, it's. I'm just thinking which one's not going to lead to fucking World War 3.
Yeah, like these are our options now, man.
That's all.
Like we're choosing like which one's not going to end the planet.
I think Trump is probably the better option in terms of coming up with a peace fucking agreement.
Yeah,
but I'm not saying that doesn't mean he's going to have to give Putin loads of what he wants, but
shit's going to get messy.
Aye, but I think I'm confident that there'll be no nuclear war unless. I mean, Putin's fucking crazy, man. I mean, I'm not that well fucking versed on Russian politics, and I just know that.
I don't think anyone is. I mean, I don't know if Russians know Russian politics, man. Like, and I say that with love, but like
Russian brothers,
you know, and it's wild as well. Like because I had Irina on before,
from Ukraine.
the last, yeah. So obviously, you know, fucking she has there's no love lost there, and understandably so. I'm still trying to understand how a country the size of Russia kind of either turns a blind eye or just keeps their head down because they don't want to get fucking. Because the ways Russia's run, people disappear and shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like it's not even a secret. People just fucking, you know, get shot. Journalists get executed.
I've watched a few documentaries about like people getting. Do you watch the one about people getting poisoned? Like in London.
Oh yeah, the Salisbury, is it Salisbury?
Salisbury, that was it.
Yeah. When that happened, I was dating a Russian chick.
Oh really?
That was when Russians were exotic and not war criminals.
I didn't know they were ever exotic.
I mean, I'm not saying they all are, for the record. I'm just saying that was, you know, that's how they were perceived. Like when I came here, Eastern Europeans were like funny accents and kind of interesting. Yeah. Now it's like we're seen as a bit of a pain in the ass at times.
Aye.
But I man, fucking the world season.
We got any deep shit there?
I guess. I mean, we kind of started out with mental health, but we never really went back to like the religious stuff. Like, did it have a massive impact on your life? Was there any link between the religious upbringing and the drug situation?
No, I wouldn't say so, but my dad was definitely like, no drugs, no drink, no smoking. He knew he couldn't stop us doing anything when we turned 18, but he always drummed that into me. He was like, I don't want you to drink. But my dad, it was crazy because my dad was a very aggressive person in other circumstances, but he would, with stuff like that, he'd be more like, I really don't want you to do this, rather than, you better not fucking drink, you know what I mean? He was more like, I'd be so happy if you never drank. Well, my dad was completely neurotic, man. He was like, anyway,
You talked about it in your stand-up a bit.
Man, he was crazy. He just was a complete, like, just not dealt with any. That's the thing, my dad probably could have done with a 12-step programme.
Right.
But he substituted, I always say my dad substituted that for Jesus. So my dad was like, no, Jesus and God is going to solve everything. I don't even need to go to work today, because even though Mum, he would quit jobs every second week, my mum would have no money, and she would be working and looking after the kids, and it's like my dad was like, no, God will provide. It's like, and he never did anything. Like, going to the just church alone that's what I felt was really lacking. I like the idea now that I'm in recovery of maybe trusting in a higher power to make sure everything's all right in your life, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I can kind of get on board with religion. But every other aspect to it, really, it was just like, it was lacking in I don't know, kind of growth, almost like spiritual growth. It was more like, everything's fine, I don't need to change.
It's almost like a surface level plaster over deep emotional issues, because obviously he developed those issues somewhere in his childhood as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
totally. Yeah.
When was your dad born?
1963.
Okay, 5 years older than my dad. Which kind of, that's just one generation, 2 generations after the Second World War. Like, you forget how recent that is, and then you hear stories about your great granddad fucking beating the shit out of relatives, and you go, right, okay, that checks out. PTSD. yeah, that makes sense.
Wait, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that, like, the Second World War ended only
44.
So 65 would be 55 plus 24 is 79. 79 years ago. That's it. Is when it ended.
44, 2024, 80 years.
Aye.
Was it 45?
45 it ended.
Yeah.
So 79 years ago. That's just my granny's lifespan. That's nothing.
And then if you were born, then you grew up with your dad coming back from the war, and that's what you knew is fucking. Dad doesn't talk much.
No.
Every now and again he punches the telly.
Or punches me. My dad was just unhinged, man. Just fly off the handle any given moment. But let's see, now he's been dead for 10 years. I've learned to really see him as an unwell person. That's another thing recovery helped me with, is seeing people as unwell, including myself.
Yeah.
Seeing people as unwell rather than
evil,
intentionally malevolent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, that's a better way to look at it, because it almost, because they say resentment is the biggest killer in recovery, because they say that resentment is one of the things that leads people back at the door to use again the most. Mm-hmm. So resentment is a huge one, and some people are walking about day to day and don't even realise that the shit they're holding on to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like, I recently realised that as a teenager, whenever I felt unaccepted, I would sort of say to myself, I'm gonna be so good at something that they'll have to fucking like me. They have, not that they have to, but they won't be able to help it. They're just instinctively will like me, right? Yeah. Kind of thing. And I realized that kind of loop it was feeding my life goals, and once I took a step back and wanted to let go of that fucking I need to prove myself, I had to make peace with, and I have to make peace with the fact that some people will not fucking like me.
Yeah.
And it's just what it is. And sometimes that sucks, but at least you got you.
Why is it? Why it's I totally get you, man. But I find it so crazy. Why it's even a thing? Like, why is it such a hard thing to let go of for people, and for me included? But why is it so? Why is the thought of somebody no liking you actually cause a physical reaction in you? Do you know what I mean?
Partially, if you grew up with to be of service to others, like being of service to others can be a good thing, but it's not always. And for me, at least, being of service to others also meant that I would see their joy in my service. So I might do something for you and you'll be happy, and that's my reward. Your happiness is my reward. Thing is, no, you can help a cunt. The cunt's going to be like, fuck off. Or they will never actually understand what you've done for them, and they will never actually feel that joy. Like,
I suppose, you're right. I would. I mean, thinking back in my childhood, my dad was. We were constantly doing something for my dad. It was like, do this, and it was never like a. It was like, do this or I'm going to fucking scalp you. Do you know what I mean? So that's no nurturing a good. That's not really doing much for my little spongy brain that's absorbing everything.
That is actually quite heartbreaking.
I know. I do think back to my childhood, and I know the thing is, like, I look about all the other children in the scheme growing up with me, and we all had. Everybody had something. There was either somebody's mom was a complete alcoholic who abandoned them. The other one was a dad was abusive and physically abusive like my dad, or the other ones like dad was dead at the age of 10. It's like everybody had something. So I kind of used to think, oh, you've not had it worse than anybody else, so don't complain. But I've learned now to be like, well, everything's relative. I'm allowed to have, just because somebody else had it worse doesn't mean that there's no things I need to look back on. And
it doesn't mean that the pain you're feeling doesn't need fucking addressed. You know, and it's a heartbreaking thing, because you realize, you know, we're all just fucking kids. You know, we're born with, you know, with a lot of possibility, and then you're an innocent little kid, and you're born into this mess of a fucking shit show, and you just go, fuck, you know.
Oh, it's funny though, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then it kind of, I mean, it's probably the thing that's led us to this couch.
Definitely the couch.
No, the bedroom, but
not yet. That's the thing about people saying that comedians are all deeply fucked up people, and that's why we're doing comedy. I don't like that theory.
You don't like it, or you don't think it's objectively true?
I don't think it's objectively true for everyone, because, as you said,
I see a lot of confident people who do comedy as well.
But even in the scheme, you said everybody had something. Then not all became comedians. They not all became artists.
But there's a lot of funny people in those communities, I suppose.
There is a lot of funny people. I'll give you that, because like maybe we need more. Comedy is a great way as a coping mechanism, so we're doing a lot more coping.
Yeah. Well, then you notice it in a lot of poorer countries. It tends to, Latin America, there's a lot of, they all have quite similar humour to us, same kind of passion, and probably you can say in Eastern Europe. I don't know, because Eastern Europeans are known for being quite dour. But that's probably more to do with the Russians, the Soviets. Do you know what I mean?
That's a weird one.
Destroying our culture for how many years?
I think Eastern Europeans might seem more dour because they might be slightly bit more distrusting of foreigners.
Yeah, I think I.
Or just people
distrusting of anybody, because like I remember speaking to him. I did a module in Polish. I always tell a story. It was funny at uni. I did just a module in Polish, and so how do you say how are you? The teacher just goes, in Poland we don't really say how are you. In Poland we are just beginning to smile. And I was like, and I was speaking to my brother who lives in Poland. He's like, well, yeah. He's like, well, people used to grass each other in and all that, so people didn't really trust their neighbour. Yeah. I mean, so they weren't really saying hello, how are you?
It's a very traumatic experience. And then, and then you take that, and then you add the macho, men don't cry bullshit.
And then some good vodka.
And then what is your only outlet? Then fucking heart attack, beating up somebody, or every now and then you go fishing for 50 days and you don't come back with another wife.
But then
look what I got. We call this one deep sea pum pum. That's what we call this one.
5 guys standing holding outside them. But like, I also think that because we all experience trauma in different ways, like yeah, you're right. It does have to be addressed somehow or looked at. But I think also, can we not take some sort of like relief that everybody's going through the same thing, and we don't have to. These things don't mean anything. They don't have to mean anything, and they don't have to become your complete personality. Because there is loads of people who will see, even with neurodivergence, like I've accepted that my whole life I've had physical tics. I've been glacial, my tongue out all the time. There's something going on there, right, since a child. I just know there's been something, and I know there's so many factors that have led to that. Whether it's my environment, growing up with my dad, the environment my mum was in when I was pregnant was probably a very stressful environment for her. Yeah. And I know all those factors have probably contributed to the way I am, but it's like I don't think the right way about it is to go get my ADHD results. Go, oh, I've got ADHD. See, that's the problem. There's the problem. It's like, yes, but like. There's definitely a culture of ADHD. Oh, I've got ADHD. It's almost like people are desperate to know that the reason nothing's going right for them is because they've got this serious affliction. It's like what is ADHD and what is you? Yeah. What is? There is a relief in knowing that I just have to accept this. It's just who I am. So then the pressure or the responsibility of having to try and change yourself is off because you just have this thing. And in certain cases that's true, but in certain cases you kind of go, mate, like, come on. Yeah. Like it's, and I know some people are like, oh, don't have you're not a doctor. How did you say that? Okay, fair enough, man. But like I see it even with I've got family members that got serious mental health issues as well, and I'm like, I'm trying to fucking talk to you here, and it's like you're not even considering the possibility that you can change your mind about something. Yeah. But then you're upset that you're not changing anything. Yeah. So like, what the fuck? Like, I totally get it. Catch-22. Yeah. You can't change anything because the way you are, but you don't like the fact that you can't change anything. Yep. Totally, man. I think like I may have ADHD, whatever that may mean, right? And the funny thing is, I waited. This is the most hilarious thing. I waited 3 years for my final appointment for ADHD. 3 years, 2.5 years, right? Well, that's 6 months here or there, But that's a pregnancy. So I had the final assessment. Half a pregnancy. Yeah. So I had the final assessment, and I had first time to do it. I did half of it, and then I was in my old flat, and there was works on, so she couldn't hear me. So we rearranged. Yeah. We rearranged for an online meeting. And I missed it because I just got the times mixed up, right? They were pretty angry because they were like, look, there's people waiting, you can't miss these appointments, right? I was like, okay, I'm not going to miss it. And then I booked a final appointment in person, and I missed it again. And then they've struck me off, and I waited 2.5 years, and I've actually this is why I can't get invested in me having ADHD, is that like that diagnosis, when it comes, but see if I'm so like, I need this as if it's going to, like, you're right, it probably will bring me a bit of relief, but now that I've been struck off the register, I'm either going to have to go private or I'm going to have to wait a few more years again, which is mental, because I'm like, look, the reason I missed this appointment is because I have the fucking, that's the symptoms. They're like, no. And I'm like, would you tell somebody who's severely this is what sometimes does annoy me, is that, would you tell somebody who's severely autistic that missed an appointment because of one of their autistic symptoms that, oh, we can't help you? But then again, on the other side, where's my responsibility that I had 3 chances to do it and I fucked it up 3 times?
Yeah.
So like, there's got to be a bit of responsibility. What are you doing to change your thinking or change? You've got to take some step. Like you're talking about your family members, like you've got to take some step to change. Or like, you can't be sitting on your phone scrolling all day on TikTok and eating fucking hamburgers every day and complaining that your mental health's fucked.
Yeah, like what you have to...
No, well, I'm not saying you can't, you're not struggling. I'm saying, but what are you doing to...
But are you trying to? Like, tell me you're trying, whatever your best is. Because like, that's been the other thing I had to learn, right, is try your best. But I thought your best meant, you're going to try your absolute best. But your absolute best is extremely malleable. So I'm a big believer now, try your relative best. On any given day, consider how well you slept, I don't know what other circumstances are going on in your life, etc., etc. Just try. Just means it just fucking, on the day, whatever your all is on the day, just give it that.
Yeah.
And then whatever the results are, that's what they are. But at least you tried.
Yeah. But I think it's not that if somebody's happy, like if somebody's happy sitting on their phone all day, just gouging on the couch, that's fine if they're happy doing it. But like so many people are saying, I don't feel happy. It's because, I mean, the phones are the worst thing you could give to somebody with ADHD. Like, it's horrendous.
Or any mental health issue, because phones are just a great escape.
Oh, aye. The dopamine, the constant dopamine hits, the comparing yourself with other people. It's like, fucking hell, man. It's.
I'm actually struggling with my phone a bit right now. Like, on days when I'm feeling really low, I just like 3, 4, 5 hours went past, and I was like, what the fuck have I done?
You're just on reels laughing at a cat doing a cartwheel.
Yeah. I'm going to show you a reel, actually.
See, when you zoom out from you on your phone, it is actually insanity. Like if you zoomed out, like to what you're actually doing, like the internet isn't even real. But you're sitting like this, looking at something that isn't real.
Yeah. Like you're right. If you zoom out and suddenly it's like, if you're watching this film, so you see first person fucking, let me fucking tell you, you wee prick on it. And then you zoom out and just complete silence. There's some cunt just hunched over in a quiet room, dimly lit, or potentially the sun's going down and they haven't even realised yet. And it's just, that is fucking horrific. That is sad.
But most days are fucking glued to them. I mean, and it's because it's so prevalent, it's because it's so, what's the word?
And then your eyes start getting worse because of it, because you're always looking here instead of,
Aye.
Start getting myopic.
It's this idea that as anything that's prevalent or everywhere, it makes it, it normalises it. It was like with me with cocaine. It's like, well, everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it, so I'm not going to have a heart attack or have heart issues because everybody's doing it. And you, if you've got people around you who are doing the same thing, it's like you all just believe that it's okay.
Yeah.
Aye.
And when you look at all this is where I get fucking angry with, like.
I don't want you to get too angry.
No, but I get.
Penguin here.
I get angry with the male influencer types when, considering all this, they start being like, yeah, but like, why? When are men going to be men again? Why are men fucking talking about their feelings? Because maybe they wouldn't be fucking addicted to everything, you weirdo.
Yeah. Or the graft one annoys me.
It's all
about the graft. So no, it's probably about a lot of luck as well.
Nah, it is about the graft, I agree, but like, I fucking sleep, I wake up at 4 a.m. every morning.
No, it's about the graft, but the graft doesn't determine huge success and money. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like but the people who are like flashing their money going, look, the graft, it's like...
Well, it is the graft, but it's also like, what are you grafting? You need to know what to graft at.
Yeah,
you need to graft for your graft. Like, just thank your fucking lucky stars that you're not dealing with some sort of weird mental health issue, or you're not,
Yeah. Aye, man, I do something. One of my issues sometimes is I just think of, I wouldn't say I become nihilistic, but I do just sometimes sit and go, well, this is when my sponsor will say to me, Mark, you're disconnected from what you're meant to be doing, which to me should be helping other people in recovery, and do you know what I mean? That's the way that's what I should be doing, but I'll sometimes become disconnected and just go, what's the fucking point in anything? Even this podcast, like, what is the even point? Do you know what I mean? Like, that kind of thinking can get quite dark. No. And when I say that, my sponsor says, well, Mark, you sound disconnected as fuck. So go out and help somebody and go and do your recovery, because, and I'm not saying recovery is the be all and end all of, well, it is going to be for my life, it is going to have to be the centre, but not for everybody's life, because not everybody has a drug addiction. But I can't even fucking lost my train of thought.
Finding your mission, your purpose. The theory that kind of, well, the logical sort of construct that helps me out of that is I had to start looking at every single step of trying matters. So the way I look at it is like, okay, fucking endless universe, right? Anytime you decide to do a thing or decide to not to do a thing, whatever, that is setting in motion a chain of events. Every second you're setting in motion a chain of events.
Yeah.
So fundamentally, you don't get not to be fucking important. You don't get not to fucking matter in the universe. Because whether you're here or not, you're setting in motion a chain of events. Mm-hmm. You just have the power of deciding which ones. Which gives you, suddenly, to me, that feels very powerful, and suddenly I feel like, you know, I'm fucking making a difference. Like, people talk about that, making a difference. Every day you're making a difference. Every second. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like, you cannot help that. That's just the fundamental nature of the universe. So the question becomes then, why don't I feel like it? If once I understood it logically, then I'm like, why don't I emotionally feel like that? Why am I sometimes doubting that? And it kind of comes back to, for me anyway, it came back to like meaning, validation. There's something there that is connected. So the way I look at it is like pride, meaning, validation. That's is the thing that if I don't have, I don't see the purpose, but it's not the purpose itself. So if I don't feel proud of myself fundamentally, I struggle to experience the purpose that is already there.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's why I keep going back to like having it sort of separate as its own thing.
Well, that's sort of maybe where when I was talking earlier about like it not being me kind of thing helps, because I'm not attached to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like saying me saying it's not me, whether you believe that to be objectively true, that when something good happens, it's like, if I say it's not me, it's a good tool to not be attached to anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if fundamentally or objectively you might still think it is you, but it's you trying your best. It's like, for me, who struggles with that, and with people who have mental health issues that like they're constantly claiming everything they do, and it's constantly just fucking building this ego up, then that's a good tool to kind of, because your ego, I found that your ego, when you knock it down, it will start to rebuild itself slowly always, so you've just constantly got to be doing stuff that takes you out of that.
It's the ego is an interesting one, because it's such a fundamental part of us that it fights back.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way. Like, oh God, you had earlier, and you said something about when you said it's not you, and then you're kind of dealing with yourself and your feelings and that kind of stuff. And I've recently developed this metaphor for the way I deal with my own stuff, you know, and that has been, I look at it as more like I'm the captain of the ship, and there's different parts of the ship, you know, like different parts of me that like signal different things. You're hungry, you're sad, you're bored, you're doing this, or you haven't talked to your mum in a while, or you haven't been in nature in a while. So there's signals that are coming through. And then me as the captain of this ship have to like, okay, now we're gonna go this way, and now we go that way. And when something like, or every now and again you get the feeling like, you're not worthy enough, you get that signal. So now I have to address this.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you develop this loop of when I feel not worthy enough, I go to drugs, I go to my phone, I go to this. I need to understand that loop, then give it something else to do. So it's like I'm turning this ship, and all the reasons, all these little mini loops that I built up to that thing, socializing, oh, I'm learning on my phone, oh, I'm seeing something different, oh, I'm keeping in touch with my friends, oh, that's something funny. All of that I need to like deconnect it and like reroute it, and it's a very uncomfortable process. But it's very much like turning in a ship, like fucking pull down the sail. Yeah, exactly.
Or the starboard.
That's what very much it feels like, you know.
Yeah, no, that's a great metaphor for it.
And that's when the pushback comes of like, yeah, but I've got used to, I like this, I enjoy this, why am I giving this up? It's like, yeah, because there's something better that I'm going to enjoy once I've sort of let go, once I've mourned and went through the loss of this loop. I can get a better loop instead of it.
I mean, I remember my sponsor saying to me before, is like, I in early recovery, because it feels like you're getting a lot of things are coming your way, and you kind of might go, look what recovery's given me, and that's actually I don't think that's the right way to look at it. But especially in early like sobriety, feel that I was given so much things, so many opportunities, and it's more, recovery is now more about what am I giving back. They say you're not in the results business. That's what they say. You're not in the results business in life. It's about what are you actually giving. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. I mean, yeah, partially. Yeah, I mean.
What were you talking about before? Because I was getting on to what you were talking about, but I've just...
The loops?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's similar, but I felt like caring about all these wee things is like maybe like another metaphor of you constantly fighting against the tide, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you waste all your fucking energy swimming against a tide, when the right way to go is just turn around, let the fucking river take you along, and like you'll see those things at the side of the river and you can steer gently towards them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I think. I remember somebody saying that in a meeting. That's a good way of putting it. Like, we waste so much time and energy with all these things about swimming upstream, I suppose, and then.
Yeah, it's because like we have these ideas about how, one, we might compare ourselves to others and be like, oh, they did it so easily, therefore I should be able to do it so easily as well. Completely disregarding that you have your own fucking stuff going on, and sometimes. So I just fucking fell in love with the loop idea. But if you actually look at it as like patterns of behavior, so that kind of feedback loops, everything we do is kind of in a loop, you know.
Yeah. Like,
you're hungry, you go eat. You digest, you're full, then you get hungry again. That's one loop. And then...
You forgot there's a shit.
Yeah, there's a shite as well, exactly.
There's a shite in there somewhere.
Very important, part of the loop.
Yep.
But like, you know, you get up, you do something exciting, you get tired, you rest, you sleep. Okay, so there's that. But then you get bored again, or things like that. And sometimes your loops end up in conflict. Because let's say you're overwhelmed by something emotionally, so you want to have a good cry. But then on this loop, you told yourself that in order to be proud of yourself, you can cry. So now this is like, you need a fucking cry now. You need to unload this fucking pain. But this side's like, but if you fucking unload that, then you're not worthy anymore, you little shit. So now it's like fucking, now you have this tension within you.
Well, so, the loops is a very good way of putting it, aye.
Yeah, I kind of, now I'm like, okay, fuck, no, but like, there's something beautiful in that image to me.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is shalom, my brothers and sisters.
I thought you were going to say that. So what do you think of racist jokes? Back to the comedy.
I mean, this is just a thought that was in my head, but like you talked about, you know, comparing yourself and resenting all that stuff. Obviously, there's two creatives in the that I know of in the family, and it's just part of my brain was like, and you even had a joke about this of even like, what was it? You said even when your mum called you like Paul Black's brother. Like, I was just curious. Is there something to that, or like, is that something you ever have to deal with, or have you been fortunate enough to be like, that's my bro, and fucking we're in this?
Well, I know definitely now. I think our relationship was really kind of fractured when I was drinking.
Right.
Because I was just, I mean, when I was in the fucking depths of my addiction, you just use everybody. You just like use people for money. You just let people down. It just, everything in your life just doesn't go. It just drain everybody around you. Do you know what I mean?
Because you need to get away from the pain.
Aye, so my relationship with my brother wasn't great then, but I mean, of course there's times where like early when my wee brother was doing really well, because he kind of blew up on TikTok maybe a few years ago, and he was doing big gigs, he was doing the Armadillo and stuff, and I'm like, I made a joke, I was like, because my granddad would always say to us, he's like, guys, see if you make any money for your comedy stuff, you need to remember to do your taxes, because the tax man will come. And I'm like, Grandad, I don't know what kind of money you think I'm earning. And it was like, I know Paul's selling out the Armadillo, right? I was like, my last gig was in front of 2 old guys who were asleep and an actual armadillo. And I got paid in eckies. So like, of course, when your mummy brother's doing really well and we're both doing comedy, and I'm like, well, how am I not doing well? But with time, I've just been like, well, you've got a different type of comedy. You're obviously not putting as much effort, and that was another thing, is realising, because some people will go, I think I've definitely, I know I keep dropping recovery in this, but I suppose it's become such an essential part of my life, and it's drastically changed my thinking, and definitely it's helped with taking responsibility for my side of the street. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
in every fucking situation. I don't just mean, I mean even if somebody really wrongs you, you know, I'm excluding somebody punching me in the face, right? I'm not saying you can't punch somebody back, but see, even if I'm around a really toxic person or somebody that's draining me, or it's like, where is my part in this? Yeah,
exactly. That's a very important thing, because like, responsibility doesn't mean, they punch me because I'm a cunt.
Yeah.
Responsibility means, right, they shouldn't have punched me.
Yeah.
Is there anything that I can do to change?
Or is there anything I've done in the past that's been self-serving? And I found, and maybe punching somebody isn't the best example, because that's a physical abuse. Do you know what I mean? But say
it's like a physical attack.
Yeah, well, physical attack. So say it was just a friend that you just, maybe a friendship that was really toxic, or a relationship. There's probably been, even if I think that person's toxic, there's definitely been times in that relationship where I've been self-serving, and I've actually maybe manipulated them, and I need to think about, what was my part in this? There was probably times where I fucking facilitated their bullshit, or they facilitated mine, and I think, and it's a fucking hard thing to do, and I spoke to my brother about it, because he was going through a few kind of resentments recently, and it was so hard for me to even fathom, and it would have been harder for me to fathom like a year ago. But even if somebody wrongs you, like, just being able to let something go and think, where is my part in this? Because we will, there'll be like a mental guy at the bus stop who'll start chatting shite to you, right? And see if you're just not in a good mood. We would actually, well, I feel like that's maybe a cultural thing, but we would actually rather listen to his shite for 10 minutes than say, look mate, I'm sorry, I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to listen to you after that. I've just had a long day, I'd rather not listen to you. But so what we do is we don't say that.
Yeah.
For fear of conflict, and then we internalise the resentment. He's a fucking cunt. He won't shut the fuck up. So, where is my part in it? My part is I can't say to that guy, mate, I don't want to listen to you. So that's my part in that. Instead of going, he's a cunt because he won't stop talking in my face. It's like, no, Mark, you're not
standing up for yourself.
You're not standing up for yourself, and that obviously comes from places like fear of conflict, and me growing up around a dad who flew off the handle at any given moment, scared that somebody's always going to react badly. I understand that comes from places, you know what I mean? But just look at yourself, where is your part in every situation? And the sad thing is, as you say, our childhood wasn't our fault. So our traumatic childhood wasn't your fault.
Yeah.
But I think the way forward to be free from all this is to take responsibility of.
But yeah, and even in that, this was the responsibility thing. Even in that childhood, what was the role that you played? What was the role that I played?
No.
Like, I took that stuff on board, and some of it I misunderstood.
Mark, you really should have tried to dodge those punches.
Where
where was your movement?
You're fucking, yeah, like this is the Bill Burr joke, but like, what was the last thing you said to your dad? See, before he chucked a radiator at you, was it necessary to ask if there's going to be food on the table? Was that necessary?
Oh, that's brilliant. That might be a stand-up bit there. I think it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying.
No, but like, what was your role in that? It's not
a radiator.
You know. But no, it's like, then you have to ask when mum is coming back. But no, like, but your role is in that. Like, what was the active part that you played in that? Because there is power in that. You say, okay, I internalize this. Well, if you internalize it, you can fucking externalize it then.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you took this on board and made it your own, you can also pick it apart and give it up.
Yeah, that's so true, man.
You know, like, I remember in the beginning of my therapy when shit was really bad, I remember the one thing that kept me going was, if I thought myself into this, I would think myself out of this. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah,
it's not easy. So every now and again, you know, you get into a phase, a new level where you go, fuck me, this is it's as weird as day one, but I'm overall feeling better. You know, but it's a bit of a mindfuck at times.
It's interesting though. It's good to chat about these things.
You have to, man.
Straight men. I was going to say straight men should be talking about. Gay men should be talking about these things as well. No, just straight men. But it probably is more a straight man thing to be
shut off in your.
Well, no, both my brothers are gay, and they're not even that emotional. Do you know what I mean? They're not like Paul hides his feelings more than I do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, nah, it's. And it's been interesting, you know, seeing men open up, because everybody opens up differently. And then there's still a part of me that, like, you go online and you see, like, guys in a group just shouting in a tent, holding each other's arms and crying.
Yeah.
And there's that little fucking voice that you grew up with that's like,
again,
mate. But then I was like, fucking no, like, good, get it out. And if you're gonna do it together, fucking get it out together.
No,
do you know what I mean?
It's also, what is surely the harder thing to do is more admirable.
Yeah.
And being vulnerable is the harder thing to do, obviously.
Yeah,
it's just can't seem to do it. So surely that's the thing that should be admired. It's this thing of, another thing that I found great realising is, it's only going to be embarrassing to be vulnerable if I'm seeing it through that lens.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's because I'm seeing myself in it. Do you know what I mean? Like, when people will see, they'll be resentful towards something, it's probably because they're seeing it through, they see themselves in it.
Yeah.
Like when somebody says that's embarrassing, it's such a stupid fucking phrase. It's
cringe.
Like, what does that mean? What you mean is you're embarrassed. You don't mean, you mean I'm embarrassed. When I say that's embarrassing, I'm saying I'm embarrassed for you. So you have the problem.
Yeah.
It's the lens you're looking at through. It doesn't mean it's the lens that I have to look through.
And it doesn't even mean that it's objective. Like, again, people use an objective term for subjective experience.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
You know, instead of saying, I find that embarrassing, it's fucking embarrassing.
It is,
I've made it now, once I got, like, because of this whole therapy stuff, I've now made it into my vocab. And when I talk about something, I go, to me, that is this and this.
Yeah.
Because own your fucking, you know, own your own biases, own your own emotional experience. That's you. Mm-hmm. Nobody else has to share that.
Yeah. It's just, I find it so fascinating how, if you truly, with all your being, do not care what anybody thinks of you, you're pretty free.
Yeah, you are.
Like, if you, in every fibre of your being, don't give a fuck what MD says to you, like, you're free. You know? You
pretty much, I mean, you have your own morality to answer to.
Yeah.
And that's it.
It's mental, like that. That's the key to being free from. Because surely we're driven, they say in the Alcohol Anonymous, that we're driven by so many levels of fear and resentment and all that we don't even know about. And and it's a lot. It's people. You see the recurring thing in recovery is people are people pleasers, and that's a very common thing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something I struggle with, people pleasing, and yeah, it took me a while to fucking get to that point where I'm like, actually, no, I don't fucking owe you.
Yeah. I definitely struggle with that. I definitely feel like I owe people things. I feel like I don't deserve anything, and I feel like I owe people things.
But see, that's the mindfuck of like the couple of things there. Like for me, anyway, was I was aware of other people's rights, but I'm like, okay, but where are your fucking rights, Silas? Like you're standing up for everybody except for yourself.
Yeah.
And the same thing for like having empathy for your pain, and having a cry when you feel like you need a cry. Like you watch a film and you see some poor kid, whatever's happening in the film, and you cry for them because it's so sad. But if it happens to you, it's like, no, fucking no. Like, you're a fucking pussy.
Aye. You're a pussy if you don't cry.
Exactly.
So let's reframe the narrative.
Exactly. And right now society's fucking going through this thing. I saw, it's like the pushback is happening at societal level, where like some people are like, well, actually no, like crying's okay, but we don't want men to be treated like women. Like men trauma is different than female trauma. Is that? Like it's just it's like one week it's like men should be crying and talking more, and next week's like, well, they should be crying and talking more, but they all should be providing and fucking protecting at the same time. If you could like cry while you're fighting a fucking intruder, that would be class.
I kill 3 birds with 1 stone. That's fucking brilliant, mate. You need that in your stand-up. That's a good bit, man.
It's just
this is what women want from a man. It's like, what is another thing you could be doing? Crying, fighting off an intruder, and
every now and again lay down some good dick.
Hi, mounting a TV to a wall, laying a carpet.
Yeah, exactly.
Some DIY.
It's like, yeah. And the one thing that I learned recently, and I get fucking passionate about this, is this idea that some emotions don't need expressing, or like you can get away with not expressing emotions. They all get expressed, bro. Those emotions still get expressed. See those days where you fucking hitting the booze for like hours because you just feel like you just need it. That some of that is fucking your emotions wanting to get out.
Yeah.
Like all your little addictions, or your little the weird shit where you're like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I just feel compelled to. There's some emotion there that you're not fucking dealing with.
Yeah.
Head on.
Even today, we like, do you know what's great about like stopping drinking? I feel like I've definitely had a few setbacks, but it's more about like, the stronger this is, I'm able to deal with the shit that goes on, like the shit that life's going to throw at you, because inevitably life's going to throw shit at me every day. Do you know what I mean? People, the inevitability of my family dying, of me dying, of me getting out, it's going to happen. So it's like, this has to be fucking worked on to deal. Because if my mom drops dead tomorrow, I'm glad to know that I feel strong enough to not pick up a drink. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What were you talking about? Sorry,
and there's just these things, man. The emotions and expressing stuff, and always the big argument is that it's useless. It's useless to cry. It's useless to fucking.
Get a grip. Get on with it.
It's not useless. It's allowing me to actually do the things I want to do better.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like, see that get up and get on with it is like, do you know, man up, like, so that's like, man up is a good, the idea is good, but it shouldn't be man as in a male. In terms of, life is going to throw things at you, so you do have to get on with it.
Yeah.
But this being solely a man thing, men have to man up, it's like, I don't know, because it's like, manning up can still be having a cry, could it not?
Yeah, just face it head on.
Well, it's because life is going to throw shit at you. So what? How do you deal with that? How do you deal with life throwing shit at you every day? Like, what is the substitute for what you had before? Is it to just... It's like the problem solving in it. It's like thinking everything's... Like my mindset before was definitely, oh, I can't do that, instead of, how can I do this? How can I problem solve here? Sorry, I don't know if I've waffled on into like 4 different subjects.
I think, because my cogs are turning as well, I hope I didn't miss anything. The kind of, I might have missed the point there with the kind of do this, kind of do that. Like the problem solving aspect.
Well, I think like so we're saying man up to somebody who's constantly complaining that things aren't going their way and they can't do anything. It's like,
right,
but you can actually flip that and be like, how life is about problem solving, consistent problem solving. Do you know what I mean? It's not, but like some people will have the mentality where just like, life's so shit and it just, I can't do anything.
I mean, in cases like this, what I found for myself, and I think it's worth exploring for anyone, is when you keep going back to the same pattern, most likely the issue's deeper and you haven't gone deep enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's something underneath it that you haven't
yeah, that makes sense.
felt. And if you just keep going back to the same cycle, I can't do this, but I'm not happy with where I'm at or what I'm doing about it, it means you're not understanding yourself fully yet. Either you haven't figured out where your pain's coming from, where your fear's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So your instinct is to like, no, just fucking don't engage.
Yeah, that's interesting. That makes total sense. It's just this another. I know it is. It's just a constant like skimming the surface and not going any.
And I know people like that. I know people like, you know, I got a pal who'd be like, they'd be stuck in a job for like a year and they'd be complaining about their fucking job for a year. I'm like, just change it, just get another one then, just quit, go find whatever job.
Yep.
And be like, yeah, but the market. And it's like, anytime the market was never good for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, like get a job that you can do that's not at the level, and then at least you have some income. Yeah, but if I get another job and then I get you know, called in for an interview, I wouldn't be able to do the interview.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Aye, people's mindset is completely flipped. It's like, they just think about the ways it's not going to work rather than how it could.
Yeah. And then it kind of becomes like, right, okay, now you have to ask yourself, what fear is motivating you to put, like, it sounds like there's a deeper fear there.
Yeah, well, what would the fear be? What would the fear be of saying the same job that you hate? The fear that... I mean, for me, like, obviously I work a part-time job as well as doing comedy, and like, I sometimes think, oh, I'll just quit that and go full thing into comedy, and I probably, hopefully will quit it in the next year or so, but I think maybe what's held me off is like, I do have a bit of fear and financial insecurity and having something, even though the money's nothing, it's still something there. Yeah. That I've only known my whole life that you need to have a solid job like this. My mum has drummed that into me when it's not necessarily true. You don't need to.
What you need is a Patreon.
True, aye. But I don't think I don't think people would even sign up. That's meant on it.
But you know, there's only one way to find that out.
Try it.
It's only a cheeky Patreon. You don't have to, like, you start it out and see how it grows.
Yeah. But I don't even know what. If I was doing a Patreon, could I just do like it funding my sketches rather than like a podcast?
You could do that as well, yeah, sketches. You could do, because like you got Cameo, right?
Yeah.
So you could do that kind of thing for the Patreons.
Oh. Sure.
So if you're on the Patreon, you get a little some personalised, you get a little something that's just for the Patreon crowd.
Yep.
You're also letting them see, or you give them like that's where I'm at when I'm studying that, of like how are people doing this, of like early access to stuff, some stuff that's only for you guys, things like that.
Yeah, that's something to think about. I've never, fucking hell, man. It's I'm getting there, but I'm getting there in my own ADHD way, like, and that's like we're talking earlier about acceptance, that although I fucked my diagnosis thing and it's no finished yet, I do feel like I'm accepting a lot of my traits, and I'm learning to just, Mark, you have stuff in abundance in certain areas that you might lack in others, but some other people don't have that. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, look at it as a positive. Look at it as a positive that I'm getting to be in a band and do comedy and do music all at the same time. Yeah, it's chaotic, and every day I'm on the move, doing something different. But if I just accept it and I stop getting invested in the outcome of everything I'm doing, then I can embrace the chaos in a way. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not the chaos of when I was using. That's a different chaos. That's a chaos that's going to kill me. Do you know what I mean?
That's more like a spiral that you kind of keep.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily I haven't been there, but like my only sort of reference point is Uncut Gems.
What, the film?
Yeah, when he's always like, that film gave me.
It's a great film, man. I loved it.
Gave me serious anxiety in the first half hour because it never ends.
Yeah, I've only seen it once and I fucking loved it, and the big twist at the end as well.
Yeah, those. But like in the first bit of the film, I think the first half hour, there's just always another crisis happening.
Yeah.
And you're like, fucking breathe.
I thought Adam Sandler was brilliant in it, man.
That was a great film.
I think it's also because you're comparing them to fucking Happy Gilmore or Little Nicky. It's like, you're like, wow, he can actually act with it. It's not just silly. Great film, aye.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about? Are you?
I'm trying to think of like.
How much time? What time is it, man?
Oh, this is getting close to 7.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, I'm gonna eat heads.
We've talked.
Yeah. Boom it off!
Thanks, bro.
Thanks, bro. That was class.